brought up the question for me, if everything can be shaken, what can we count on? In Buddhism, there is a key concept called impermanence, which is the idea that life is change, that nothing really lasts, that things are constantly changing. Change can lead to suffering because most of us would prefer things to stay the same. We don't like losing people and things, and we don't like losing time. And so often we'll fight against that change. The Buddhist path is one of learning to accept, to embrace the change, the pain it brings, to accept it rather than fight against it. That all makes sense to me. The author of Hebrews is saying something similar when they refer to the things that can be shaken. There's so many things that can be shaken, that change, that shift. There's a lot that doesn't last. But Christian faith doesn't end there, doesn't end with impermanence. Instead, Christian faith, as we see in this passage, it points to what can't be shaken among all the things that can be. In the midst of a changing world where there are inner and outer fires and earthquakes, where there's fear and trembling, Hebrews invites us to look for what's unshakable, for God's unshakable kingdom in the midst of all that, for what is essential, for what is ultimate, for the things that we value most, that we can count on most, for what lasts. There's a pastor out in Denver named Jasper Peters who, in talking about this passage, used a recent event to offer up a kind of metaphor to explain what Hebrews is getting at. 5 years ago, there was a 7.1 magnitude earthquake in Mexico that caused a lot of clear damage in populated areas. But scientists weren't sure what kind of damage it had caused in more remote places, particularly around some historical monuments and things like that. And so they used radar to test some of the historical structures. For example, Aztec pyramids. They wanted to see what was still standing, what was safe for people to visit, that kind of thing. And so as they examined these structures using radar, they realized that one of the pyramids, one that was right outside of Mexico City, it was badly damaged, it was shaken. But they also made a new discovery, which was that underneath what was damaged and shaken, there was an older temple, nearly 1,000 years old, older than the pyramid itself, that was now visible, that was still standing underneath. The earthquake had shaken the newer pyramid in such a way that it revealed something beneath it, something lasting, something strong that could still be seen. That's like God's unshakable kingdom, Peter says. What is essential and most important and most lasting, it remains even when other things fall away. That's where we can put our trust. That's what we can count on.